the syllabus for ITSC 1311 beginning web programming. We are meeting 100% online. Here's my information here. I respond to messages within 24 to 48 hours. The textbook is free and it's linked on the homepage. So here it is right here. So you don't have to purchase a textbook. Storage device, you can use a flash drive, or you could just save on the cloud somewhere the files that we'll be creating. We will be creating HTML files. Hardware, software requirements. Just be sure that you have a computer that has internet and you have a browser. Be sure that it's current. So just be sure to check any updates. Internet connection and current Microsoft Windows. And actually, it doesn't have to be current, to tell you the truth. Alamo Colleges has laptops for checkout, and they also have hotspots if you have issues with internet connection. Be sure to check your emails from Alamo Colleges, the Alamo Colleges email. Be sure to check that email because Alamo Colleges emails you outside of class. And there's information there that you really should take a look at. Note on the left-hand side, here's the inbox, the Canvas inbox. And let me go ahead and show you this real quick. If you click on inbox here, this is the email that you can use for the class. This is what I prefer, but of course you can use my email address if necessary from the home page. So to do the Canvas email, you just click on the very top in the middle. It says compose a new message. You select the course that you're in. And sometimes it's a little wonky, but just try again. So there it is. And also know that you have access to your fellow students. You can email everyone through the class as well, or just certain people. I do want to take time out to say that you can work with each other, but I do not want I don't want work that is the same. So if you're discussing what an answer might be on one of the quizzes, be sure to put it in your own words. Don't put exactly the same thing that somebody else put to prevent cheating. Because you know the whole cheating thing, if I get the same assignment or the same answers from two different people, we'll both get a 0. So just be careful with what you do with your work. Okay, so anyway, so this is composing a message. You type in your subject and then you type in your message and then you can click send. You can always do an attachment down here on the bottom if you need to send me an image of an issue or whatever. When you do, oh yeah, and of course, when you email me with a question on your homework, please be sure to attach the HTML file that you're working on, so that way I can look at it, test it out, and give you detailed information about the issue. Okay, so going back to the syllabus. And remember, this will always be there. So if you ever have to go back to this information, just you can just click on that link there. So here's the description of the course. We're going to be, it's going to be skill development in web page programming, including markup and scripting language. So markup would be HTML, scripting would be JavaScript. So again, we'll be doing HTML, cascading style sheets, and well, this is not something that I add here, so that's why it's not exactly the right information, but generally it's HTML, cascading style sheets, and JavaScript. The outcomes of this course is that you can demonstrate that you can do HTML and JavaScript, and you'll be creating interactive web pages, which will be really cool. I have to say, I really love this class. I love creating web pages. So I think this is really going to be a fun class. The evaluation for this course, basically, we have labs, 30%, chapter quizzes, 30%, discussions, 10%, and exams, 30%. So basically, all of those will add up to 100%. Discussions, I use the same grading scale as most everybody. 90s through 100 is an A, and on down to 0 to 59 is an F. I want to point out that if your major is computers, or if this class is on your degree plan, you have to make a C or better. So a D will not count. If you make a D in this course and it's on your degree plan, you're going to have to take this course again. So be sure to focus on the A, B, or C, preferably A. And just let me know if you have any questions about your progress. I will generally grade work within a week of submission, or I would say a week from the due date. So I typically don't grade assignments before the due date. I'll grade them all together. But if you have any questions about anything, be sure to email me. Like, let's say you don't understand how to do something, well, email me about it. Email me the HTML file before submitting it, if it's before the due date, so we can work it out. Because if you just submit it, then I may not know that you have, questions about it. So be sure, if you need help with anything, to email it to me. Okay, so course policies, basically, the syllabus contains the information that you really need to know for this course, and always be sure, there's a lot of stuff in here actually, and I'm just not going to cover everything, because there's institutional policies, there's college policies, but I'm really just going to focus on what I have and then kind of cover what the institution has. Okay, but I do want to point out that the policies and expectations are intended to create a productive learning atmosphere for all students. And I really focus on the fact that we need to be respectful to each other, and we need to be civilized. So any communication that you have with anybody, you need to be sure that you have respect for everyone. And we do have discussions, so that's really where it it's going to count. We all have our differences, we all have different opinions, but we still have to be respectful. We have to work with each other. We have to understand that we all have differences. So please be aware of that. And it is actually in the policies that you are respectful to everyone in the course. So attendance. So attendance in this course is necessary to pass the class. As long as you are submitting the assignments, then you will be fine. Let's say you haven't submitted work for 2 weeks. That means, that basically tells me that you're not interested in the class anymore and you may be dropped. But just know that it's not guaranteed that I will drop you. So let's say you're out for a couple of weeks because you don't want to be in the class anymore and I don't drop you. That means you're going to get an F in the course. But I try not to do that, because I don't want an F on your transcript, because you can only, I'll go through it in a little bit later on, but you can only take so many classes so many times. You can only take so many hours, but I'll show you that in just a little bit. 30% of the course is labs, 30% is quizzes, 30% is exams, and 10% is discussions. Okay, so labs, they are basically what we need to do in this course so that you can practice what you've learned. So you are going to be creating web pages, you are going to be putting in cascading style sheets and JavaScript, and practice it, work with it as much as you can, because this is some really good stuff. You can turn in things late, but just know that it's a 2-point penalty per day late. So that means that it's late one day, you're talking about 2 points off, and that's 2 points in addition to any points I would take off because you're missing something. So just be sure to submit as soon as possible. So let's also say that it's a week late. Well, then you're talking 7 days, which is 14 points. So the later it is, the more points you're going to have taken off in addition to what the assignment is missing. That the same goes with quizzes. You also get a 2-point penalty per day late. And basically there's quizzes for each chapter. You'll see that the first 2 weeks we have a quiz on, well, the first week or this week we'll have a quiz on chapters 1, 2, and 3. Next week we'll have a quiz on chapters 4, 5, and 6. So, and then you'll have your first exam. And the reason why I do that is because basically the first 6 chapters is really about just text on, the history of the internet and, just some information that you need to know before starting actual HTML. And I just want to get that done with so we can focus on, actually doing our labs. And actually next week we are going to have a lab, but that's really just to install the software. So that's it for the labs and quizzes. We'll have 4 exams. The first exam is going to be on the first 6 chapters. The second exam is going to be on HTML. Third exam is going to be focused more on cascading style sheets. And the fourth exam is going to be focused on JavaScript. But not exactly, I would say that there's some HTML in the third. So it's not only those topics per exam. Basically, and it'll list which chapters you need to know for the exams. The final exam is just on JavaScript. It's not cumulative, so that means it's not going to be covered everything in the course. It's only going to be, that one is definitely just JavaScript. Again, discussions, is 10% of the course. So, and basically I have discussions to kind of give you an opportunity to talk about the content. I even like it when you share information, like maybe your experiences. Like, some of you have done HTML before. Maybe you want to mention where you did it or what you've learned or just your experiences, because, I think that it's valuable that your peers hear not only from me, but from other people, including you, because you have experience that you can share. That is really helpful. Okay, so expect to spend approximately 8 to 10 hours per week on ratings, assignments, etc. So just be sure that you allocate some time during the week, get organized, maybe make a calendar. Organized is a really great way to live, I think. Okay, and these policies are to encourage a comfortable and fair learning environment. So again, I need respect and courtesy and respect to everyone, students, guests, instructor. I may have a guest that probably is not likely, but anyway, just be respectful for everyone. I want all of you to know that this is a safe space. Okay, so here is a schedule. I just had to have that there. It's really a link to the modules, so I'm not even going to cover that. Institutional policies. um, attendance. Smart Start, basically what that is that the college wants you, okay, this is institutional policy. So this is policies that the college has. What I've covered so far is basically my policies and my specific information, but this is now the college information. And like I said, I'm really going to breeze through these, kind of generally tell you, but I think it's important for you to read it because, you know, there's information that you really should know about, you know, taking college courses that may be helpful. But anyway, Smart Start is basically kind of like a system that we have to make sure that everybody, you know, attends the first day of class. So some of you, some of you that are registered for this class right now are not here. So that means that I will probably have to drop them. And that has to do with funding from the government. You know, the government gives us money to provide courses. And, you know, when we don't accurately show which students are in class, well, then we don't get as much money as expected and that kind of thing. Long story, really, and I really don't know that much about it in the first place, but it's important that you are here, and you are, and that's really great. But that is information for other classes you might need. Just be sure that you participate at the beginning so they know that, okay, you're there and you're good. Okay, it is your responsibility to drop the course if you need to. Again, I could drop you, but that's not guaranteed if you don't continue. But I also want you to know that you should contact me if you have any issues, because maybe there's something that we can do, or maybe it's something that we have available. Because like I said, we have the food pantry, we give out free food, there's health services, there's actually mental health services also that I'll cover in just a little bit. So, you know, if there's anything that you need, or if there's a certain reason why you're thinking about dropping the course, let me know. Maybe there's something we can do. Okay, early alert. This is another system that we have that eventually, if you, like, let's say, you know, you participate at the beginning of class, so you're good. You don't do this. You're not dropped because of the Smart Start, but maybe within a month you're not really doing anything. Well, we have a system that kind of alerts the advisors to tell them, hey, you're not doing anything. Maybe look into you know what's going on. So that's another program that we have. These right here. When it comes to the 3P rule and the 150-hour rule, this is where it's it's pretty important because it depends on, like, you're taking a class now, but if you end up dropping the course, um, you might have to take it again. So if you take a course repeatedly after a while, the third time, you'll have to pay an additional $125 for that course. And that has to do with funding from the government as well, because, you know, when you drop a course, you know, you're taking it again and again. I don't know that much about how we're funded by the government, but um, that's why they charge this additional fee. So please just be aware of the fact that there are issues with dropping a course. So if you ever decide to drop a course, that's why I want you to work with me to see if there's something that we can do. And then we also have this 150-hour rule. That means that you can only take a certain amount of hours before getting your degree. So, so that's pretty important too. Another reason why you really don't want to drop, and a reason for that actually is so so you're not really wasting money. or they basically, and one of the main things about this, I think, is like if you get financial aid, of course, if you're taking this through high school, then you probably are not paying anything. But if you take so many hours without getting a degree, then they worry about like financial aid, because there's so much financial aid that you can get. And actually, it's really cool that you're taking classes in high school, because that means that the financial aid that you get is really, if you get it, is really all going to be going toward your bachelor degree. But let's say you were taking courses not in high school, you're getting some financial aid for your associate degree, your 2-year degree, and you don't have so much for your 4-year degree. So that's why this is such a benefit, what you're doing right here, right now. So, and if you have any questions about this, unfortunately, I'm not very informed about this, but your advisor would know. And actually, it would probably be your college advisor, not the high school advisor, that would know more information about that. Okay, so student responsibility for success. These are things that I'm not going to go through in detail, but these are things that the college feels that you need to be successful. So we want you to be engaged. You know, I'm asking questions. I want your input. I want you to be engaged with the course. I want you to communicate with me if you have any issues, maybe with the assignment or, you know, other reasons that I mentioned earlier. And here's academic success, self-responsibility. So you want to make sure that you're being responsible for what you need to learn and to succeed. And of course, responsibility to others, including respect. Textbook availability. I already told you that it's freely available. Here's campus carry, but that really doesn't apply to you because I believe you need to be over 18, I guess. More information, you can contact district police. Title IX has to do with civil rights, discrimination, harassment, retaliation. Here's the policy linked here if you need more information. And I don't know much about this again, but just contact your advisor for a specific person to talk to if you need to. Okay. Incomplete grades. If for some reason, oh, and this is another reason why I want you to talk to me if you're having issues, because there's a possibility of getting an incomplete where you have a little bit more time for a course, but it has to be justified. So you really want to focus on doing your work and submitting it on time. Here's some college priorities. This is the SAC college priority. We want to make sure that we have respect for everyone and promote a pleasant, enriching, and rewarding class experience. So these are some of the things you want to just be aware of. Netiquette means etiquette on the internet, which is probably something that you already know. So you want to use proper language, you want to be friendly, you want to ask for clarification if necessary. Here's the distance learning handbook if you need it, quality enhancement plan. Basically, that's a program that we do to improve quality of our courses. Marketable skills is really important for you to know too. And the reason for this is because when you get a job, you need to have these kinds of skills. And a lot of times they won't, or you're not hired for the job because you don't have good communication skills, or you don't, work well with others. So you want to be sure that you can do all of these things and show the employer that, that you can communicate and, that kind of stuff. eLumen, good information to know, but I'm not going to cover it. Advising is very important because you don't want to repeat courses. Remember, there's that 3-repeat rule, there's the 150 rule. And yeah, so it's very important to see your advisor, specifically if you're thinking about dropping, because there's so many different, there's different things, different ways that we can help you. And there's also different things that might hurt you if you do drop a course. So see your advisor, and also talk to me too. Maybe there's something I can do. College policies, here's some information here. Emergency phone, if you're on campus and you needed help, there's the number. And it's basically on all course syllabi. So if there's any class, there's the emergency. Here's a general phone number. Here's the weather phone. If we were on campus and let's just say, there was a freeze and there's ice on the road, you can call this number to find out if the college is closed. So that's good for future reference. And information about being on campus, we don't want to hear your cell phones. Of course, if you're on mute, then I can't hear your cell phone. Yeah. Okay, let's kind of zoom through here. Academic integrity means no cheating. Of course, again, you can work together, but I don't want to see the exact same or even similar answer. It has to be in your own words. Children in the classroom, not an issue. Here's the 3-repeat and 150-hour rule again. Disability access statement. If for some reason you have issues with anything, maybe maybe you need more time and you have a qualifying situation, you would contact that number there to see if you qualify. But let's just say you have any sort of challenges, please let them know so we can give you the help that you need. Again, I said that there was mental health services. So here's a email address and a phone number. So let's say you're stressed out, maybe you just need to talk something out. Use that service. It's free. It comes with just coming to college. Student conduct, just be nice, don't be mean. Title IX, again, discrimination. More information there and a contact number if you have any issues. Service animals are allowed on campus, but we're not there. So that is the syllabus, and that's why I didn't cover everything in detail. I know that I'm at the end of this. If you have any questions about anything, you can leave it in the chat. And also remember that you can email me about anything if it's something private. So now that we've covered the syllabus, I want to go ahead and go back to home. And then I want to focus on, remember I said that I do not want you to focus on this. You don't want to do what's listed here. Of course, you want to do it, but you don't want to click there directly. You want to click on this click here to begin button or the modules button to start, because the modules is where you find all the information that you need within a certain week. Because if you were to look on that to-do list, you would only see introductions and quiz 1. You would not see this overview or the Netiquette guidelines or this message about the discussion response. So be sure that you click on modules all the time. Okay, so now that we're at modules, let's go ahead and look at the orientation. getting started in helpful resources. And again, I'm not really going to focus on this so much. This is stuff that you can read on your own. I'm just going to touch on different areas. This is the Zoom meeting times again. Focus on clicking on modules to access your class content. And actually, let me go ahead and go back to modules because this is how much it tells you. And again, week 1, it tells you what it ends. Everything during this area within this module here is due by the 24th. Of course, some things are due earlier, like basically just discussions are due earlier because you have an initial post and then you have a response due by the end of the week. So then we have week 2, everything's due by January 31st, week 3, week 4. So it's pretty much organized by week. And then right here, I have when spring break is. It's the week ending on March 14th. You will not have to do anything during that week. So you will have time to relax. And I will try. And notice also that on the bottom it says we'll unlock May 10th. I like to go through my assignments and activities just, to maybe fix anything or verify that everything is okay before releasing it. So, but I will try to release this one early just in case you can work during spring break, because I love to get ahead. And typically I will have modules available by Sunday, the Sunday before. So if you're looking at week 6, then by February 21st, this module will be available. So, but if for some reason you need more modules available sooner, I can work on them ahead of time. Just let me know. Because, if you are one of those people that like to do things early, like me, I like to do things early, then, by all means, I'd like for you to get things done early, because you never know what might happen. Anyway, going back to this getting started. Okay, this course essentially follows the flow of the textbook. And at the very end of the class, actually, when we cover JavaScript, we're going to be looking at a different website and some parts of the textbook. So, but I'll give you that information in the module when the time comes. Know that there's help available. I've already mentioned the help desk. There's Canvas. Remember, you can click on the help over on the left-hand side. Remember the chat. They can help you. Oh, here it is. I mentioned the chat. They can help you 24/7. They can even look at the course to see what your issue is. There's a tutoring resource. If you feel more comfortable working with a tutor, you can work with them as well. They have certain hours though. But also know too that over on the left-hand side in the menu, there's BrainFuse. That is actually a second tutoring option for you. So let's say you went to the tutoring at SAC, but maybe you just weren't comfortable for some reason. You can also try this BrainFuse online tutoring area. They can help too. So you have help available too. And I also mentioned down here about free food, emergency funds I didn't even mention earlier. Let's say you have issues paying your rent, or your family has issues paying rent, electricity, or water. It's possible that you can get emergency funds through the college. So just visit this resources page if you're having those kinds of issues. But also, again, free food. They have those drive-up boxes, and last semester they were doing it about every other week, it seemed like. But again, actually, that's a good question. Does it work like a loan? I know that there's grants, so that would be free money. But I know, I remember at some point they had a loan situation. but that was a while ago. That was before the COVID thing. So that is a really good question, Jacob. I would definitely look into it because I believe there are grants, and with their grants, they are free money. Look into it if you have to or you can. And even if you think you might not, it's worth looking into. Specifically, like anytime you can get free money, like financial aid. If you think you make too much money or your family makes too much money, you never know. Just apply for it and see what happens. All right. Okay, covered those things already. Okay, student support services. This is very, very vague. It really just gives you a link to the resources that we have. But, there are these resources here. So there's a mega lab or computer labs. Of course, the labs you can't go to now, but you go through them to pick up the laptop if you're going to check one out. Remember, there's counseling available if you have any disability that you might be able to get extended test time or something like that. All of these resources are available to you. There's the tutoring link as well. So take advantage of whatever you can because it's there for you. And if you don't qualify, you don't qualify, but just check. Okay, so emails. This is just a reminder to always check your email, not only because for financial aid, but remember you get information about health services, free food, that kind of thing. And actually, they'll send you the ACEs email when they have the food drives. So you'll know exactly when to go, schedule pickup. And I believe you have to sign up first. So read those emails. Okay, checking your status of this course, you just click on the grades menu item over on the right or the left hand side. And actually, let me go ahead and show you real quick. If you just click on grades over on the left, you'll see a list of all the assignments. And of course, there are dashes here now because you haven't submitted anything. But once you submit something and I score your assignment, you will get a score here. And it also tells you here the percentages of what everything is. And you can even test out grades. You can actually put a grade here and see, what kind of grade you'll end up with if you had a 0 here, if you had 100 here, that kind of thing. But don't really want to focus on that too much because we're almost out of time. Okay, we were actually at additional information, and this orientation module is available to you. It will always be on the top of the modules in case you need to refer back to any of these resources. Dropping the course, I've mentioned that you really should see your advisor or talk to me because there's so many situations that it might be a bad thing if you drop. Contacting your classmates, I mentioned earlier, I encourage you to work together, but you have to put things in your own words. You have to do the work yourself. I talked about the resources. Here's information about having basic computer skills. I think you all gave me good feedback on that, so you did good. These are good practices. You want to have time management, create a schedule. Of course, you need technology. You need to have good netiquette. That means being courteous, be a good classmate, be professional, be respectful. Okay, and this is information about Biosig ID, and basically that verifies that you are you biometrically. So basically, if you have like a more recent iPhone, where I guess from like 6 to current, you know how biometrically you put your fingerprint and you can log in without putting your passcode. Well, Biosig ID is similar to that in that you use your mouse to enter a code, And since you're using your mouse, it basically identifies you on how you would type in your code. And you can go ahead and watch that video on your own to learn more about it. But if you go to the next page, and every time I hit next, I'm in the modules, but I'm just going in order from where the modules is. I have an error here because I'm doing a student view. I'm not actually a student, but you'll get an area where you can actually type in. Actually, let me go ahead and leave student view. So you can see, and you just watch the, go through the instructions. I highly recommend that you use the mouse to do that, because once you select one of these, you have to use that same one all the time, or the ID will be different. So just be sure. I'd highly recommend doing the mouse unless you know you're always going to use a stylus or a touchpad. But again, the previous page tells you about more about Biosig. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And this is the week 1 overview. So if I go into modules, I'm now here. I just went through all these pages, and now week 1 module. And basically it tells you what we're going to be doing this week. I need you to read the first 3 chapters. So actually, as soon as you can, I need you to read the first 3 chapters, because there will be a quiz on all 3 chapters. You also have a discussion. There's no lab this week, but most weeks we will have a lab. Here's some more Netiquette guidelines, a little bit more detailed, but I focus on respect. So you can go ahead and read that. This is an introduction here. I want you to go ahead and post an introduction about yourself. The initial post, and basically, you want to post something about your hobbies, pets, favorite food, whatever you want to share. But your initial post is due on Thursday, which is tomorrow, and it has to be at least 100 words. So that's the initial post. So remember, in the modules, I mentioned something about a reply. The reply to somebody else needs to be on Sunday, and it must be at least 50 words. Here I have your first quiz. Know that you can go in and out of this quiz. There's no time limit, so you can always go into the quiz. And I'm going to hit preview. What you would do, actually, let me go ahead and go back to your view. So when you go into the quiz, you can actually take the quiz, and there is no time limit. So it doesn't matter that the time is moving, because you have all week to do it. Well, you actually have until Sunday now to do it, to answer these questions here. So I highly recommend that you make note of what the questions are and then save them in a document, because you won't be able to save within here. Once you're done with all the questions, then you can come back here and submit them by Sunday. So you can go ahead and start that. You can even complete it, and once you're done, you just hit submit quiz, so you can submit it to me so I can grade them. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know.